Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this out there on the World Wide Web. This is Jeremy Geelan for SYS-CON TV here at 12th Cloud Expo, New York, as is David Brinker, Chief Operating Officer of ScaleOut Software. Thank you for joining me, David.
That's my pleasure, Jeremy.
Welcome to Cloud Expo. You're not a complete stranger here, but what is ScaleOut Software brought to the show floor and, of course, to your session?
Well, we're all about in-memory analytics at this point. So we're focused on a demo that we have in our booth that shows a real-time analysis for a hedge fund to allow them to do trading strategies and analyze those trading strategies in real time.
Now, everyone has heard about that real-time element and liked the idea, and everyone has heard about finance latency. So you guys must be doing something quite special if you're actually going after the philosopher's stone of big data analytics. So how are you doing it?
Well, we do have something very special. So our technology is all around in-memory storage, and then we have built-in analytics on top of that. So you can actually analyze data in our in-memory grid while it's changing. So for example, if you have a financial services app where you have streaming data in, right, like market feeds, and you have trading going on, all of that data is absorbed into the stock positions of a hedge fund, let's say, and at the same time, you can overlay the business rules or the hedging strategies on top of that, and so you get real-time, continuous analysis, and you can have almost instantaneous alerts going out to your traders when those hedging strategies are out of range. So we're pretty excited about that.
It does sound, David, if you're amazed, it does sound like science fiction. Not the technology, which I doubt not a moment exists and is brilliant, but the consequences. You know, we had all those strange things, didn't we, from automatic trading. I know that you don't have to have a view on that. You're just, you know, creating the tool. But what about, people must be saying that, oh, you're just going to enable some incredible catastrophe.
Yeah, well, it's all about time, right? I mean, the faster you can do any business process, the better off you are. So it's not just about financial services. We enable this for reservation systems, for e-commerce, real-time recommendation engines in the e-commerce world, real-time fraud detection. There's just a whole number, there's a whole range of applications that need real-time analytics.
Right, now that's a very good corrective, because immediately you say fraud detection, you think, yeah, so that will help me. So that's a really good example.
Yeah, I mean, there's just tons of them. You know, smart grids. So you'll see a smart grid that's trying to distribute power from solar collectors. So you're getting this constant flow of telemetry from the solar collectors, and you want to be able to optimize your power distribution right then. You don't want to learn 2 days later, oh, I should have optimized it, right? You want to do it right then. So the world is full of these use cases that need real time, and now the technology is here. You know, the right things have come together.
And how do you explain, for example, how would you explain to your children, how would you explain this notion of in-grid? What's the distinction? What is that enabling that was not possible before? I mean, we know speed is the answer, but how? The how of it?
Yeah, I mean, the how of it is thinking about doing more than one thing at the same time. If I was explaining it to a child, it would be, you know, instead of doing step 1 and then step 2 and then step 3, oh, all of a sudden I can do all 3 steps at the same time. Like, you know, your child and his 2 friends, or her 2 friends, all 3 of them are working on something together instead of one of them doing all 3 steps. It's essentially...
That's very good. So it's no longer serial, it's simultaneous.
That's right, yeah.
Wow. Now that does beg the question, who else has figured this out, and are your rivals? Because don't tell me ScaleOut Software is completely, uniquely in possession of this, or perhaps you are.
Well, there are other people working on the problem. Here's the thing that's unique about us. We hold the actual data that's changing in our product. So it's an in-memory data grid that's holding very fast-changing data. So it's a storage facility, but we also integrated into that same product is an analytics engine that does data parallel computing. So the real difference, we don't know of anyone else who's doing that. I mean, there's products around it, but that's the real claim to fame that we have, actually.
So now I'm thinking suddenly that unleashes in my mind, I have gazillions of children, the notion of how about if your wallet, which is a container, and we know in this case it contains money. Also, as you reached into it, told you what you could afford, whether you could afford it, why you shouldn't be buying that kind of thing, all in real time. Every time you reach your bucket, it'd be brilliant.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
So I get a check. I get a check from ScaleOut Software when the buyout comes. What are you looking forward to? So this is all productized. Obviously, they're going to be different, as you say. I can think of endless use cases. So it's going to be a very busy time. How does that play out, David? How do you penetrate the market if you've got something unique? I mean, is this a 5-year run before you even need to re-innovate?
Well, it's a very interesting question because the people that are interested in doing real-time analytics on operational data, as we're calling it, are not necessarily well defined. They're not the data warehouse people and the BI people. They're not really the app developers. They're someone else in the organization, and we've found some organizations that have those people, but they're not real widespread. So one strategy is we're bringing this same kind of capability to the Hadoop community. You know, Hadoop is not a real-time system. It's a batch processing system with data held on disk, typically. So we've just released our first product called H-Server that begins to move Hadoop toward the real-time analytics space. And so that product, along with its future releases, we believe is a good entry point because there's lots of Hadoop people that are interested in real-time analytics.
So you've got a well-defined market, so use that as a wedge into the greater market.
Yeah.
Brilliant idea. Now, I know what you want to do next. That's what I want to do. Go to scaleoutsoftware.com, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. Yes, please.
And noodle around to see what's going on with these guys, because it sounds to me... Are you privately held still?
We are privately held, yes.
That's a shame. Oh, well. We wish you extreme best luck. Have a great show, David.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
I've enjoyed it very much, Jeremy. Thank you.
And thank you for following along out there on the World Wide Web.